Good day, everyone, and welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope, and a new Nigeria is certainly possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zone. Today, we have come again to have discussion on what is happening in Nigeria, especially as minimum wage talk is no longer on the plate. Chief Bola Tinubu has gone to South Africa, expected to be back. And then the issues arising as a result of the Rivers State crisis, as the appeal court today we held judgment, and while we await that very report that is coming at this very hour. We have discussion also on minimum wage, as we see that some of the lawmakers are moving ahead to make some sacrifices. This is coming from the lawmaker representing Nasarawa Zone, Senator Ahmed Aliyu Wadada, who has called on Chief Bola Tinubu to approve at least 150,000 as the new national minimum wage. Wada made the call while speaking with Newsbane in Kefi local government area of Nasarawa State. The Social Democratic Party of Nigerian chieftain asserted that the economic situation in the country is the reason he is making such a demand, in his own words, and in quote, "I have expressed my opinion in the past on the issue, and I'm going to reiterate it here. For me, as a person, the minimum wage worker should earn is 150,000, looking at the realities on ground." And that is coming from Wadada. Now, the people to have the discussions with me on the studio, I have Divine Dawns and the Peaceful Peace on the studio. And also, we have well-meaning Obidient and well-meaning Nigerians on Zoom who are going to do justice to this our discussions today.
A very warm welcome, and thank you for joining us on today's live broadcast.
Fellow countrymen, Obidient worldwide, now welcome.
Yes, as you join us right now as we are live, please do like, share, and subscribe to show that Obidient Family TV is live. That is much we expect Obedience to do at this hour. Let's share this video so that other people will know what is going on and trending in Nigeria. So let's start this very conversation here. Divine Dawns, clearly, I think I like the idea coming out from the lawmakers, this very senator who is proposing 150,000 and ready to make sacrifice. That is one part I like so much. Notwithstanding they earn so much, but talking about their sacrifice is what actually got to me here.
Well, yeah, it is a very good show of empathy, at least on his part, right? To actually call on Chief Tinubu to hasten the process of bringing up a new minimum wage, and also the willingness for him to say, you know what, we're willing to let go of some of this, advances and some of these things we get to gain, as long as the layman is able to feed properly. So kudos to him. But it's one thing for him to say it, and it's another thing for the other majority of the people in the House of Reps and Senators to share the same empathy or share the same, opinion with him. So kudos to him. He has shown some form of empathy, right? But we hope that the majority of the other senators actually share his opinion and also, press on Chief Tinubu to do the right thing.
Okay, and that is coming from Divine Dawns. Let's get to our own 24 orders against Speaker Victor Okojumbo and 5 others. The appeal is challenging that very high court judgment that declared their seats vacant and sought to set aside decisions made by Jumbo while in office. The appellants argue that the trial court lacked jurisdiction, sought as an accelerated hearing, so that is expected. However, they prayed for the appeal to be dismissed, citing incompetence in the records of appeal transmitted. After hearing submission from both sides, the 3-man panel, led by Justice Jimmy Olukayode Bada, reserved a date for judgment to be communicated to parties in the suit. The appeal court had earlier ordered all parties to maintain status quo and cease hostilities until the matter is heard and decided. Well, that is what is coming on now. But we can see that Rivers State men had actually what do they call them? The chairman that were inaugurated by Fubara has already taken position in their various capacities to do their job in the Port Harcourt distance. So despite being unable to access their local government secretaries, the newly inaugurated caretaker committee chairman for local government areas in this River State has commenced their official duties. On Thursday, being today morning, many of them announced the dissolution of all standing committees within their respective local government areas. During their inauguration in Port Harcourt yesterday, the chairman were instructed by Governor Fubara to avoid any violent confrontations and to operate from any suitable location within their council, and that is what they did today. Prior to that inauguration, police had taken control of all council secretariats due to violent clashes on Tuesday that resulted in the deaths of policemen and a member of the vigilante group. That is what we will be having this.
Supplying, obviously, farm products that are scanty right now, they are going to be probably in abundance from next year, because the economy has now forced everybody, both urban and rural people, they are all in the villages now, farming and doing one thing or the other. So probably by then, the cost for food price will come down. But then, what happens after that period? What happens? 200,000 should be the minimum. If I'm being told to evaluate issues, 200,000. And then we'll see on how that can be checked again, maybe by 2026, 2027. That's just my take. And on the issue of the River State,
I think network is having some issues around here. But let's get back to, while we try to resolve this very issue, let's take what is happening as the APC has called for the state of emergency in River State. That is Tony Okocha, who said that there is need to call a state of emergency, notwithstanding that a judgment is expected from the Court of Appeals today. Let's take a listen to that while we try to resolve this network issue.
So to speak, as far as we are concerned, illegal council chairmen, because again, who screened them? 3 assembly members. When Supreme Court had made a decision on that matter somewhere, some time ago, when it concerns a governor, in Plateau State, Supreme Court said, what one thought is, it's not about the people who are sitting, it's about the majority of members of the assembly. What we have in this state today is a situation where we have 3 assembly members. One is speaker. The other one is deputy speaker. Maybe the other one is majority leader, because there must be a majority leader to sponsor bills of government. That's what we have. Isn't that illegality? You can see that the man is thriving in illegality. So we are in trouble in the state. We are in a state of war. And because the governor is unteachable, and because the governor does not listen to counsel, even the counsel of Mr. President, APC River State that I represent today is demanding for a state of emergency in River State. It is the way out so that you and I will live in peace.
That is the River State APC chairman, caretaker committee chairman, Tony Okocha, who is lamenting on the need for state of emergency in River State. But Divine, let's take it off from here. From what this man is seeking for a state of emergency means he wants them to unseat Fubara, which of course we know is not going to happen. But it's coming from their own perspective, and he's quoting several sections that befits that he thinks is that he can go along with. But of course we know what the truth is. And also, this same caretaker chairman has not come out to say whether the lawmakers are actually in APC as we speak, because that is actually in dispute currently, notwithstanding the assertion that they have gone to APC. There is another court affidavit wherein they are talking about still being in the PDP. So this man is not being fair at all. Or what are your thoughts?
Well, you've said it all, to be very honest, because the only state of emergency that needs to be declared in Rivers State, as we all know, is that, you know, some people refuse to accept that, you know what, their tenures are over. Some people are still trying to, you know, control the happenings within the states from, you know, their external positions. And so that's the only state of emergency that I think should be declared in Rivers State. And like you rightly said, he's not answering the questions that we want to answer, or we want answers to, rather, because we have 23 or rather 24, you know, members of the House of Assembly who defected to your party because they thought it was the cool thing to do as at the time, or the most beneficial thing, and now they are coming back to, you know, carpet cross and tell Nigerians that, oh, they never actually left to APC, even when they publicly declared that they were now members of APC. So this is the man that should be telling us if these people were actually their members. So he's just playing politics once again, and his claim about Governor Fubara being unteachable, I don't really see any truth in it, because this is somebody that has worked to the you know, peace agreements that Chief Tinubu actually allowed, or rather the resolution he brought to bring peace and order in the states. But they are the ones that keep, you know, doing things that is not in the interest of Rivers people. So they are the people that, in my opinion, have, you know, a bone to pick. They are not being very, very straightforward.
Okay, so as we see that the network seems to be stable again, let's get back to our people on Zoom. Elder Ubode, I'm coming to us. Can you please unmute? Tell us your thoughts on the two issues we are currently discussing. One that has to deal with the senator coming out to say that they are willing to make sacrifices and let Tinubu consider 150,000 naira minimum wage for Nigerian workers, and also the happenings in Rivers State. Please, let's have your thoughts on this.
Good evening, everybody, and you are welcome. I really don't have much to say regarding these issues. My take on the minimum wage, I expect minimum wage to be about 350,000 naira for workers in Nigeria. The senators, and you know, and they're going with tens of millions of naira every month, then why should the ordinary worker, ordinary person in Nigeria go home with 150,000 naira? I don't even know what the NLC and what's it called? Yes, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. They are quiet, doing nothing, because somebody has taken money. Somebody has been bribed, you know, to keep quiet. And this is rubbish. Tinubu just rented two private planes, you know, to South Africa recently, where he was put in the back seat, you know. And I don't know why his personal assistants are telling him rubbish about, you know, this salary. 350,000 naira is just that little change, isn't it? And with what is going on in Nigeria today, you can't buy much with 350,000 naira. So NLC and what I call, please go back to the drawing table and figure out how you can overcome this issue, because you are letting everybody down. You are letting everybody down. The River State case, I'm not sure why Fubara got himself, you know, into this pickle, because once you've left an APC operative, you know, so to speak, you are no longer with the PDP. And PDP is not saying anything. So I cannot understand it. This is not a case that shouldn't have gone to court. This is not a case that Mr. Tinubu should have put his fingers on, but because he has something to gain from it. That's the only reason, he's trying to muddle the water. Or muddy the water. It's imbecile. I don't know why. Why should we be doing things unconstitutional all the time? Why should we be doing things unconstitutional all the time? Do we have a problem in Nigeria? Do we have a problem? Everybody, they have to do things, roundabout way. What is wrong with us? Can't we believe that for one moment, the black man can be somebody? The white people treat us bad, and we treat ourselves bad. What is wrong? What is wrong? Do we have something with our brains? We are out in the diaspora. We are very intelligent and doing things, the right way. And we're helping to develop all these countries, in the diaspora. But, Nigeria has to be ruled or led by thugs, who decide that the black man, should be nothing, just trash. It's just, nonsense. It doesn't make sense at all.
No, I mean, Nigeria is a place where the illiterates rule professors.
Yes, of course.
When illiterates,
because the professors to sit back,
Yeah.
Let me also guys on what you are referring. Every local government chairman politically elected in office, but that is not what is happening in a majority of the states in Nigeria that we see. If I give you an example, I can't remember the last time, even in Anambra State, that we have, a chairman that is democratically elected in any local government. Yet, it has been going on. They have been receiving their allocation because the what do you call it? The Supreme Court says that you can't withhold those. So it is all being manipulated and used by the state governors, which nobody is really talking about. And still, the people in these local governments are receiving very meager, low amounts of money, notwithstanding everything that is up. I can also share with you discussions on this that discussed in Arise News, wherein Sam Amadi was able to explain most of this thing. But even when they finish saying all those things on national TV, nothing is done about it, as if Nigeria is just in a state of capture where the governors and the other elected people do as they like, and the masses which elected them into office has no say whatsoever. Nobody will talk. Currently, as we are talking about this very minimum wage, recall that within 24 hours they were able to pass certain bills. They're like the national anthem and different other bills that they were able to deal with. This very particular one, for the last 1 week plus, we are talking about having communicated the whole thing to Chief Bola Tinubu. Is not yet out to the National Assembly. The labor unions are quiet all this while, and nothing happens. So there is so much things that are happening in Nigeria that nobody talks about, that are purely unconstitutional, but it keeps going. Take the case of what is happening in Rivers State right now. We know for sure that the people who are making all these rivers ungovernable are from Wike, and still nothing much can be done. The elites, like we discussed the other day, only talks about what is their interest and not really something about the interest of the masses. Masses currently can't even afford to feed twice a day. So many things are so expensive, and yet they are not even looking at approving something that is tangible for the masses, and nobody is talking about it. Well, I will share the video, but not right away. Let's take this thing from Mr. Bassi. I realize he's still with us, and let's take his own comment on what is happening, not just in Rivers State, but also the proposed 150,000 that should come out as a sacrifice from some of the lawmakers in the National Assembly.
Thank you, Mr. Kanu. And good evening, all the studio panelists. Good evening, all the obedience across the nation, and good day to all the obedient across the world, wherever you are, depending on your time zone. The issue of, let me start with the issue of minimum wage. And the man who met said they are willing to make sacrifice. I just don't believe that sacrifice, because he didn't spell out how much sacrifice he wants to make. Because at the end of the day, what we would find out is that when push comes to shove, you hear them beginning to promise it. He needed to have stated what he's willing to sacrifice. Let us know. Not after everything, he will now say, oh, because I didn't get the buy-in of all my other fellow lawmakers. I have learned not to believe politicians except I see it happen. Some of those words may just be rhetorics to just make the people's ear to tickle people's ears, and then you know, by time make looking amongst his constituency. Having said that, the issue of minimum wage, I really don't see how labor will come down from move up from 250. They had come down to somebody had earlier suggested it should be 350. For me, I think the 150 that are being proposed might seem like an ideal bus stop. At least we can start from, which is far, far better than the 62,000 that is proposed by the government. So I would ask, I would appeal to the labor union to intensify the work and see how they can get the best living wage for the workers.
Yeah, but before you Mr. Bassi, do you also think that the government to deal with these things will be ready to deal with 150,000? Because recall that they were very agitated even at the mention of 105,000 some days back, and also they are talking about their inability to make those payments, as it were.
Yes, what I would say here is that what are the governors saying they are doing with the money? Recall, when the oil subsidy was removed, most of the state governors have received higher revenue over the period of how many months? What have they been doing with this money? I can't see any tangible they are using it for, except for the fact that most of them are embezzling this money, changing it to foreign exchange, And you also notice that every time there's a FAC allocation sharing, we tend to have issue with our forex. That is when you see Naira depreciating. So if they are willing to be to sacrifice their interest for the interest of the people they claim they want to serve, they should be able to pay this. Any state government who cannot pay wage of one, I mean, it's not even fit to be a state government. It should be turned to a local government. Such state should be collapsed. So that is my take on this. I know that they have the resources to pay this minimum wage. And besides, what even make us think that only states should only rely on FAC allocation? Most states should be creative. They should be able to generate their internally generated revenue. They should be creative without necessarily having to overtax people. So this is where I want most state governors to think. They should stop relying on federal government share allocation for the benefit, for the purpose of paying salaries. My take on this. Then, as for the issue, the man that is calling for the state of emergency in Rivers State is actually an enemy of Rivers. Recall that that was the chief of staff to Rotimi Amechi. And under Rotimi Amechi, they never conducted local government election until a month to his the end of his tenure, that he conducted a kangaroo local government election, which of course when Wike assumed office, he annulled that local government election and set up what do you call caretaker committee. So the same people who are now fighting Sim today, that he's trying to truncate the constitution, never obeyed the constitution they are trying to talk about. Look at irony. He can only shoot them when it favors them, but when it doesn't favor them, they begin to call constitution. Almost all the states, like you said, are running a caretaker government. And even the ones who have conducted election, we all know how it always goes. It's a winner takes it all. So what I'm saying is that let everybody hold their peace and allow the governor of Rivers State to navigate the process of instituting an elected local government administration. Nobody should stampede him into doing what he's not ready to do at the moment. After all, take a case in instance, Cross River State doesn't have an elected local government administration. Akwa Ibom, the nearby state, doesn't have. So why would they want to impose this on this man? Because they see that he's a political neophyte. So he's, he doesn't have all the will it takes to hold on to that position. So they are trying to rattle him and bring all manner of blackmail to make him succumb to this thing. They should allow the man to govern the state. That is my take on this. Thank you.
All right. That is unmute and then share that with us so that we can move on.
I don't think her microphone is active. Her microphone is not active online, so I don't know if she'll be able to join us in the conversation.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
In the
for having that observation on the market issues while we await how to, deal with that very issue. Let's quickly come back to this Mary Okon, who will be giving some updates right here. Coming back to the studio quickly, let's immediately get your reaction, Divine Dons, on what we have heard our people have spoken about. You heard what Lord K said. You heard but everybody is not just happy, especially coming from Mr. Bassi, who said that all what is happening as far as the 150,000 naira is okay. But again, the issue of state governors who are looking at not being able to pay this very money, are they willing? Do you think that they are willing to make the sacrifices, just like the lawmakers said that they would be willing to make sacrifices for Nigerian minimum wage at 150 to work?
Well, I don't see the readiness from our Nigerian governors to actually sacrifice anything to make this, 150,000 naira minimum wage a reality. Because the truth is, from the onset, even while they were still deliberating 54, 60 and all of that, these people came out to say that they are unable to pay, which I personally know, or not just me personally, I'm very sure that every Nigerian that has, a working brain can tell that these people are lying, because the entire revenue they get after the fact that we've removed subsidy, their allocation has doubled, probably even tripled. So I don't think money is the issue. I just think there's a lack of willingness on their part to pay up, right? They don't want to sacrifice any luxury they are used to or any of their frivolous spending. They just want to just keep the masses impoverished.
But again, even if they are lamenting lack of the funds to pay, why are they not moving into agriculture massively? You understand? Redeploy some of these very workers who are all there, you understand? Move them to the way, provide tractors, go into mechanized farming to provide food sufficiency in each of their states.
For agriculture to work, there has to be security, right? So people wouldn't go to the farm if they have to battle with bandits every other day. So I think we should start with the security. If the places or the states across Nigeria are secure, then I'm very certain that there are people that are even willing to go into agriculture. So beyond mechanized farming, we have to make sure, or they have to first work on security, so people will be willing to take them on their offer of going to the farm. Because you can't tell a group of people, or rather a family, to just go and farm, knowing fully well that they are probably going to meet their debts there. So the states have to be safe first.
All right, the states have to be safe. That's coming from Divine Dawns. And we also believe that the governors can also provide the security if they wish to. There is an adage or a saying that comes from, I think, is it General Abacha, who says that if violence or any insecurity persists within 24 hours, it means that government is involved. So they know what to do to secure their states and also to make their states profitable. They are so that they can be able to make the payments to their workers. And that will be all we'll be bringing at this very time concerning that. Let's look at the updates that will be coming from the Obidient Family Cooperative Society. Each day when we come out, we try to look at what the Obidient Cooperative Societies are doing across the 774 local governments in Nigeria. And our regular person who comes on to give us updates is none other than Mary Okon, who happens to be the president of the Obidient Family Cooperative Society Yala local government, who had in a very short period of time has brought engagement among Obedients in her constituents to over 5,000, going on over 5,000 members who are members of our cooperative. Yesterday, she pressed the issue of most of the farmers in her cooperative needing fertilizers, seedlings, due to the farming season we're in. And she's again here today to tell us more about the Yala Local Government Cooperative. Mary Okon, you're welcome to Obidient Family, and hope is alive for you and your people at Yala Local Government. Mary Okon, okay, it seems like we're still having network issues, but all the same, let's get this going. If Lord K is still there and active on Zoom and the network allows, can you tell us more about the cooperatives in Edo State? I recall that Edo State is gearing up for an inauguration of the cooperatives very soon, as there is already active political campaign going on in Edo State due to the incoming governor Olumide Abata, who is doing so well with the Obidient in Edo State. Can you tell us more while we wait for Mary Okon to adjust her mic?
Absolutely. I mean, Edo State is now the heartbeat of the Obedience family. They are now an exemplary ground where people will actually see what the Obedient family is all about, how the cooperative is going to work, what the cooperative is going to do for indigents of Edo State in the 18 local government areas. So right now, we are going to be having our ESCO meeting on Saturday at 8 p.m. So all the ESCOs in the 18 local government areas, they are going to be meeting on Zoom. And I mean, we want to push it to a different level. The incoming governor, that's His Excellency Akpata, will be made the next man for Osadebe Avenue. That is not a joke. So I implore everybody, if you know you are from anywhere in Edo State, any of the local governments at all, please make sure you find a way to join the Obedient Family Cooperative. Make sure you find a way to join them, because that's the legal entity that's actually operating right now that will get everybody on board. Thank you very much.
All right. Let's also, from you. Okay, Eda, whether you have something to add?
Yes, because I don't know so much about the Nigerian constitution, then I wonder, do individuals have rights to defend themselves? That is pertinent, isn't it? Because
you have the
right to defend themselves. In which context, please?
In the context that you can possess weapons,
I think that the authorities in Nigeria, firearms and all of that, for people to possess, you need to have a license, and that is about that. But I think you are coming from the context of insecurity for the farmers. Am I correct?
Yes, of course. Because if they believe, they have to be able to say, hey, this man is of sound mind. We can give him, if he demands a weapon, then he can have it. Because if everybody has, this opportunity to defend themselves, nobody would dare.
Yeah, but the issue here now is the fact that with the condition, with the hunger in the land, nobody's of sound mind anymore. That's the problem.
Well, again, not everywhere. Not everywhere that this insecurity is persisting, because at the Yala local government, where Mary Okon is engaging with Obedience, she had not. We have seen videos of her even crossing the river, moving over to different communities, and she had not brought to our notice of bandits, attacking these farmers. They are simply asking Obedience everywhere across the globe, in Nigeria, in diaspora, to see how they could assist them with fertilizers and seedlings to be able to do their farming the right way. So the insecurity is mostly at the northeast, northwest, and all that, and also, of course, at the southeastern. But where Mary Okon, as we can can see her working, going about, meeting farmers across the farmlands. We can see that all through the video that she has been sending across. And she has not said that they were attacked by bandits or all that. So that beside the point anyway. We'll see how we'll get all our obedient cooperatives across the country to, rally around to make sure that they are doing their farming thing going on. And also is the priority of the state governors to provide security. That is the mandatory aspect of their job, to provide security for all their citizens.
Providing security, because this is what they kill people so often in the north. And the military, they have all the guns and whatever that they need, but they still leave these people to keep killing people in the north.
Okay, our time is giving us signal and the network has not been friendly today, but we are able to, to analyze some of the things that we needed to talk about. But again, I want to call up well-meaning Nigerians and obedience across Nigeria and then diaspora to look at the Obidient Family Cooperative Society as a structural framework, wherein we need work to be done across Nigeria. This is the right way to go about sensitizing people, having them in a structural and legal format where they can be able to operate and be able to have a voice to speak. That is what is going on across Nigeria. So wherever you are, there is a local government, and join the obedience there, engage with each other. And for those local governments who are yet to be registered, who are waiting, Jigawa, we have over 20 local governments yet to be registered. In Kanu State, we have over 20 also not being registered due to funding for their registration. And these registrations are not so much with the state government. Some of them are 20,000 naira per local government to be paid to the state government. Some of them are 30,000 naira to be paid to the state government. And herein we are soliciting for support from well-meaning Nigerian and Obedience for us to cover the registration of the Obedient Family Cooperative Societies across the 774 local governments in Nigeria. The account information is on the screen right now, and if it touches you and you believe that a new Nigeria is possible, that you believe that the structure of the Obedient cooperatives should be in them being together, that structure we are talking about must be on the grassroots and must be legal. That is why we are saying a registration with the state government is mandatorily needed. So as you see on the screen, the account information is there. No amount is too small. Whatever you can support for the obedience to continue their registrations in different local government, please do not hesitate to use this very account information to support. Every Sunday by 7 p.m. we come on Zoom meeting to have a discussion on how many local governments have been registered, how many is pending, and the amount being spent on each. Also join the community platform. There is a WhatsApp platform on this very broadcast. It's just for you to click the link and join the community platform, where you see in all the details and all the local governments waiting to be funded and the ones that are already did, and for you to join the movement. Wherever you are, if you say you're obedient, there's a need for you to join the Obedient Family Cooperative Society. It's for your own welfare and for business of mutual benefit for all obedience. We keep saying that every day. Please do support them on this registration. Until tomorrow when we come your way again. Bye for now.
Well, of course, the issue is that they can't form a quorum, basically. Section 96 provides clearly that if you have less than the quorum, which is prescribed.
Right.
It can't be 3. It's 2/3 of people, members available. You count it and they're not available. Then you have to adjourn sitting. Although the House of Assembly has the powers, under the law to make its self-regulate itself, that's the parliamentary prerogative. In which case, the court won't even stop them, but they can't invalidate laws, actions made without a quorum. Now, the idea here is very simple. I mean, like he pointed out, obviously 3 does not constitute 1/3 or 2/3 of members available. Again,
availability.
Yes, no, members of membership.
Membership, not availability, because you use that
during
twice.
Voting,
right,
the majority, simple majority that the law requires is those who are available to vote. So, but you have to cross the threshold of quorum to constitute a valid house. But when you are now doing voting for purpose of lawmaking or other parliamentary services or functions like confirmation and all that, then it's now based on those available as at the time the vote is called.
Right.
Now, if you step back again, the question then is, what should have been done differently? I mean, I like to look at the counterfactual. So, assuming the governor who had been saying that the tenure has ended, irrespective of quote unquote the law amending or extending tenure, had indicated election within this period, maybe election would have held. Again, what's the constitutional validity of the interim arrangement, those who are appointed now? Obviously, I mean, the constitution is very clear. Every local government, properly so-called, must underline, be democratically elected. I have argued over 4 or 5 years ago, there was Attorney General of the Federation. I would ask the President to impound the allocations to local government not democratically elected. Somebody has argued. I said, what's the difference between this and what Tinubu did in Lagos? The difference here is
in setting up the additional
the
20
difference,
or so.
Yeah, the difference is that the Obasanjo's impounding of their revenue affected democratically existing local governments. Tinubu's extra were incoherent, as the Supreme Court said. He needed parliamentary rectification to be part of it. But Obasanjo seized the allocation for the local governments. So that was unconstitutional. But seizing allocation for undemocratic local governments, it would have been proper. So the case is still in court, let's see how it goes. But the key point here is you cannot have interim run the local government. But you can argue that in this extraordinary moment where the incumbent's time has expired, political intrigues and conflicts does not just allow for election. Maybe they have limited mandate to supervise until election is conducted. That could be some kind of justification or necessity. But essentially, the governor should know that this is an illegal act.